Hello Neowin, it's Tim Sheeser again, and we're back for part 6, the final part of our super smartphone showdown, in which I've pitted 5 flagship devices corresponding to the top of the line device from each of these manufacturers up against each other. We've been looking at pretty much all of the things, but today we'll be wrapping it up, looking at the conclusion along with some tidbits that I've left out of all the previous ones, like battery life, video playback, music performance and stuff like that. Anyway, we'll get right into it with the video playback, and that is when I'll be showing off the Samsung Galaxy S3 because it does have the best video playback out of all of these devices. In fact, it is the only device so far which has actually beaten my video playback test. You'll see here that it does actually manage to play THX's Amazing Life video. It's a very cool video if you've never seen it. But it's very intensive, this video, in terms of bitrate, the codec range and stuff, but the quad-core in this is capable of playing back this video, which is surprising and definitely welcome. And of course you also get a lovely 4.8-inch display. Again, you will remember that I gave the actual display winner to the HTC One X, but that doesn't stop this display for still being very good for video playback. Another thing to note out of all these devices is that the Xperia S has the Bravia engine on board, which does enhance the quality of pictures and videos. In fact, you can see here it says Mobile Bravia engine image quality enhancer for photos and videos. You can enable and disable that. It does make somewhat of a difference, but unfortunately when you use a third-party video playback tool, you unfortunately lose that ability to have the Mobile Bravia engine working. It's a bit disappointing, but unfortunately that is the way that Sony has decided to go with this. In terms of music playback, the HTC One X has Beats audio. While you might think that the Beats brand is not particularly good when it comes to some things such as headphones, it does actually enhance the quality of the sound coming out of the HTC One X quite considerably. In fact, out of all of the enhancing software that is used throughout smartphones, Beats audio is definitely the best. I'm not sure if I have any songs that I can play on here. Oh, in fact there's the default ones. You see a when you have headphones plugged in, unfortunately you can't do it just by playing it through the main speaker, but a pop-down menu comes up and it allows you to select Beats audio. Definitely recommended, makes it sound better than any of these other devices. In terms of the sound straight out of the device, probably have to either give it to Sony or LG. They do a very good job with each of their devices' sound output. It seems very crisp and clear. Samsung's probably the weakest link there. It's not particularly bad, but you know, I was expecting a bit better from that device. Now, a couple of other things that should be mentioned. Which of these devices has the best battery life? And in the video playback test, the Motorola Droid Razr actually dominated that with the best time. Even though it is really slim and it is not the Razr Max, it still packs a mighty punch when it comes to the battery, and it does manage to take down all the other devices in terms of battery for video playback. But in general life, the Samsung Galaxy S3 is better. Not only does it actually have a removable battery behind here, which I will show you. You see here, it has a removable battery. This is actually only one of 2 devices here that has a removable battery. It's this, and also the LG Optimus 4X HD has the removable battery. But in terms of battery life overall, I think I've got the best performance out of the Galaxy S3. Normally I have to charge this once per day, but occasionally, using mostly in Wi-Fi zones, you can even stretch this to 2 days, which is surprising for a flagship device with a very large screen. So you have to praise Samsung for doing a very good job in improving the battery life there. The weakest performer is unfortunately the Sony Xperia S. For some reason, even though the device is reasonably thick, lots of room for a battery in there, it does not perform the best. In fact, during these videos that I've been recording, sometimes halfway through the video I've had to charge up. Even when it's on 50%, it might have drained to 20% just in the course of filming the video. So unfortunately, Sony, you are the weakest link for the battery life. The HTC One XL also has better battery life than the HTC One X, which is something to keep in mind. Probably again not particularly outstanding battery life coming from this device, but I'm sure many of you will make do with what is given. So the final question is, which one of these devices is actually the best, and which one would I recommend? Now I've used each of these devices for roughly a week each, here and there. So right, hardware wise, you cannot go past the performance of the Galaxy S3. It is simply the fastest device there is on the market currently. But that said, I wouldn't recommend this as the device that I would overall choose, mainly because of the fairly crappy plastic backing that it uses. And I mean, the design isn't overall that great. The software, while it does have a lot of features, it is fairly average. And the camera does get beaten by the Xperia S. That said, overall, I would have to give this my second place, coming runner-up to the HTC One X. The reason for that is, even though the performance of the Galaxy S3 is very good, the performance of the Tegra 3 in this is also very good. You also get the Tegra Zone games and a whole bunch of other Tegra 3 related things. And to be honest, the performance between these two devices is, well, it's fairly similar, to be honest. So you're not exactly getting a giant downgrade by choosing the One X over the Galaxy S3 in terms of the performance. And that said, the HTC One X has a much better display, and in terms of design, it is much nicer from HTC. They've decided to go with the nice touch polycarbonate on the back. So that is the device that I would give the overall winner. But that said, there are some redeeming qualities about the rest of these three devices in the middle. Usually one or two features. For example, the Sony Xperia S has the best camera out of all of them, coming in at 12 megapixels. You get a dedicated camera button, and the quality is generally outstanding. So if you are a camera and photo taking buff and you don't want a standard point and shoot, you should definitely consider the Xperia S. Second to that, the Galaxy S3 for camera quality. If you need something really, really slim for whatever reason, the Droid Razr is your best option. It also has very good battery life, and if it's even better if you get the Razr Max. The Kevlar feels amazing on the back, and the software, the Android 4.0 software, is probably the best out of all of these devices currently. The LG Optimus 4X HD is a strange device because it's somewhat good, but it falls short in a lot of areas to other devices. For example, the screen is really very good, but the HTC One X's screen is better. And performance-wise, again, Tegra 3, so it's really quite fast, but the Galaxy S3 is better. And while the camera's average and the software, while it is very good, and it's fairly good in terms of the overall look, the Samsung Galaxy S3 has more features. And in terms of the design, I do like the design, but the Droid Razr is slimmer, and this has a better feel to it. So again, this isn't exactly the worst device in the world, but it just unfortunately gets beaten by the other devices. So at the end of the day, the HTC One X is the device that I would recommend out of the flagship devices from each of the 5 major carriers. So thank you to everyone who has been watching the past week of the smartphone Super Showdown. Again, thank you to mobbycity.com.au who supplied me with the LG Optimus 4X HD and the Samsung Galaxy S3. They've been great to me in giving me a lot of my review smartphones, so please check them out if you're in Australia or the UK. They have some great prices and very fast shipping. Thanks to HTC for letting me check out the HTC One XL, which has been the flagship device choice. And thanks to Sony for letting me check out the Sony Xperia S again. And of course, check back on Neowin. We are always doing reviews of smartphones. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel above if you're viewing this on YouTube. You get a lot of great review content, such as video overviews, straight there. And as always, follow us on Twitter at NeowinFeed, or you can follow me personally at ScorpusV. Links for those will be hopefully in the description below. Anyway, thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, look out for the LG Optimus 4X HD review if it hasn't been put up already.